Hello, this is Michael Langenberg with Confluence Local Marketing. Today, we're going to answer a very important question for small local businesses, is the importance of SEO. And I'm pleased to announce that we have finally got a hold of Jack Lombardi with Chicago Website Design SEO Company, one of the top SEO companies in the United States. He's also the top rated SEO company in Chicago. And we're going to ask him some questions about what's the most important thing in choosing an SEO company, what works and what doesn't. And I'm really happy to have you take the time out today with us, Jack, and answer some of these questions.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me, Michael. I really appreciate it.
First, Jack, what does a business owner need to know about SEO before they hire an SEO company?
Well, what they need to know about SEO is if they don't know the value of it, all right, and haven't done their research, they probably shouldn't pursue it because it's an investment. SEO is not a switch, okay? But SEO is also a great platform for online marketing because here's what the consumer, the average person, knows about the internet. They believe that who's ever at the top obviously is the industry leader of, whatever niche they're searching. So let me give you an example. Say if you have a plumber, right? And the plumber's at the top of Google. People are going to assume that that business, that plumber, is the best plumber just because they're at the top, not understanding that it's really search engine optimization, which got that website to the top. Another thing they need to know, and I believe we were talking about this off camera, was what are the things a small business owner could do to protect themselves when looking for the right SEO company? And that is the most important thing a small business owner should do in the SEO process of just anything. Anything SEO is qualifying the company. And I believe we were talking a little bit about some of the mistakes that our clients have made before, working with us. And I'm just going to run through a few of them for you, and stop me if you've experienced the same thing in your time in, as being a web advertiser and internet marketer yourself. The first thing is, and it blows my mind that people don't do this, is go on and look at reviews. Start reading some reviews. Like, instead of going and just saying, okay, this guy called me up and he said he could do this and that, and then they pitch you some number that you think you can afford, you got to go do your due diligence on that business. And we have had, I'm going to be honest, probably over 50% of our clients in the very beginning, they've gotten burned because someone called them up and promised them and said, hey, we represent Google and we could get you on the top of Google and we have the permission to. I mean, that's all crap. I mean, that's just not even true. And they believed it because they gave them some lowball number, okay? And they said, well, what the heck?
I get those phone calls all the time, and I actually have some of my clients contacting me too, where they're like, hey, I just got a phone call. This company says they represent Google, and they need to verify our listing, and they'll help us get to the top, and they'll only be $99, and they guarantee 10 keywords to be at the top of the Google search results. And then it doesn't work, and a lot of times they might even work with some other SEO company, maybe who knows where in the world, and they promise top place result, and it doesn't work, and then they come back and say, we tried SEO and it didn't work for us.
Yeah, I hear that all the time, Michael. That's absolutely correct. It's kind of funny. People actually will call our company and start with that pitch, which is BS. It just baffles me. I've actually one time took one of those calls when I was having lunch with my wife, and I pretty much drilled them. And then, my wife was looking at me, a little cross-eyed, wondering what the heck I was doing. I was actually toying with them. And at the end of the call, I told the person that they should work for, a more reputable company because everything they said was pretty much a lie. And I asked them to go on Yelp and go search SEO Chicago, in which, as you know, we're the top-rated company in the world on Yelp. No one has more reviews. And we have clients that have contacted us from Ireland, from Australia, from the West Coast to the East Coast, just because we have so many great reviews on Yelp. So, that shut them up pretty quick. So the second thing, and that was in reference to reviews, just looking them up. The next thing is that, go look at their company. I mean, the proof is in the pudding, right? I think, my dad and mom used to always say, hey, proof's in the pudding of things. Well, this would apply as well. Proof's in the pudding. If you type SEO services Chicago, we're at the top. If you put in SEO service Chicago, we're at the top. There's a handful of other keywords. We're either number one and number two, and and then there's a handful that we're going after. If you go on Yelp and you search SEO companies or SEO services or SEO expert, we're at the top. The proof is in the pudding. So if you're in another state and go and you want to work with someone local, go look up this SEO company that called you. And if they're not at the top, how do you expect them to get your business at the top? I mean, arguably, SEO services, which is the most search term for the services that we provide, would be the hardest keyword to get, because we're going up against other SEO companies for that keyword, and we're at the top. The proof's in the pudding. So if a business owner is in another state and they want to work with someone local, look for the guy that's at the top. I mean, that's pretty simple. If they could do it for their company, chances are they could do it for yours. Now, the next thing is, and this is the one I love, do they have a contract? A lot of SEO companies out there say, hey, no contract, no risk. All right, let's debunk that. So if there's no risk, then it means there's no risk to them, because there's nothing written of an expectation of performance. And here's the thing, even if they say, hey, we'll rank it first and then you pay us, the old saying, what's too good to be true is too good to be true. And even if they have a contract in place, I guarantee it's one-sided. Here's what happens, and we've actually had clients who went for this, and this is how it played out. They got a better deal going on with somebody else, and then they just dumped them. They just stopped doing their work. And then so, okay, you could say the client doesn't have any money out of pocket, so they didn't lose anything, but time is money. So they lost 5-6 months not knowing, hey, what the heck is going on, which ultimately leads them to think that SEO didn't work for their business, like you were saying earlier. And then the last thing, and this is, unfortunately, sometimes we have to have these conversations with prospects that come in, and obviously we feel these aren't a good fit because, unfortunately they need to go out and, see what we're saying, is that, do you have packages? All right. And I can understand the mindset of package, right? They went and they researched other SEO companies. And when an SEO company has a package, they're generally saying, hey, we'll do whatever you can afford. But they're not saying, hey, we're going to do what it takes to get you a result. So do you see the disconnect there, the difference?
Yeah, I think that it really explains a lot when you talk about those packages for an SEO company, because when you look at the cut and paste packages online, your business, any business, for the most part, it's going to be a lot different from every other business that's out there. Even a roofing contractor is going to be different in his roofing area than a roofing contractor in, let's say, Kansas. And when you're buying these cut and paste packages, everybody's getting the same thing. And that's, I think, why SEO really doesn't work for a lot of businesses when they look at it like that.
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
at the local level, because local SEO is completely different from a national level, as far as I understand it.
Yeah, I would agree. There's a second algorithm that you have to work with, and that's called the Google My Business. And so the second part of that is, like I said, we are going to sell you what you can afford, but we're not going to promise you it's what you need. And the second part of this is when did the client become the SEO expert? How are they supposed to know what they need? So it really shifts the focus off the SEO company and puts it on the client, and it allows the SEO company to come back with this rebuttal. When the client gets upset because they didn't get the performance that they were expecting, okay, because they were misunderstood what was going on, they're going to go back to the SEO company upset, and the SEO company is going to say, well, you have to spend more money. And so they've lost time, okay, by having to learn this themselves. And then what happens is they feel like they've been misled by the SEO company, but considering that the person never looked up or the client never looked up reviews, so they didn't know this was going to happen. And this is how a lot of SEO companies choose to use their business model, which I think is just absolutely crazy. And that's why they go out of business as well, is because eventually it catches up with them. Now, to recap, if they're not at the top, how are they going to get you at the top? If they don't have great reviews, well, there's something funny about it. If they have no reviews, well, that should be something funny about it too. If they have packages, I'll be honest with you, that's crazy. And then finally, to really drive it home with the contract part,